7 o'clock, so I'll call the meeting to order. Pat, meeting notice verification? Okay. Sean, would you like to lead us in the pledge?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Chris, would you like to give us our mission statement?
To serve with passion, to ignite creativity, innovation, and excellence.
Very nice, thank you. Roll call, we've got 6 board members here and 1 excused tonight. And Ryan, it looks like you have a full house tonight.
Yep, our whole team is here this evening, so.
Okay, I'll look for a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved.
Sorry, what? Okay, so no amendment needed? And we have a,
So I'll make a motion.
okay, a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, we have an agenda. Our first matter of business is to discuss, consider, and take action on the organization of this year's school board. Item A is election of board officers. So since we only do this once a year, and I tend to forget too, I'll just remind that for nominations, you only need to nominate a first. You don't need a second for that nomination. And then if there are multiple nominations, we would use ballots to take votes. So first position that we'll elect for is president. And I think, do you have a cheat sheet at your desk too? It looks like this? Okay, to follow along with. Do you? Hang on, isn't this it? No. Okay, now everyone's got one? Questions on the process before we move any further, I guess? No? Okay. Okay, so we'll go in order. President, Vice President, Clerk, Treasurer. So first office of President. Do we have nominations?
I move to nominate Catherine Griffin for president.
Okay, are there any more nominations? Are there any more nominations? Okay. Are there any more nominations? I have to ask 3 times. Sorry if it feels like I'm repeating myself, I am.
Then you just need a motion to close the nominations, or is asking 3 times?
So after the 3 times, then someone can make a motion to close nominations and cast a unanimous ballot since there weren't other nominations.
So moved.
Okay, and then his motion needs a second, right, Pat? Okay,
I'll second.
okay, motion is second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. So next we'll move to Vice President.
I'll make a motion to nominate Tom Grosskopf.
Are there any more nominations? Are there any more nominations? Are there any more nominations?
I'll I'll make a motion to close nominations and cast unanimous ballot for Tom Grosskopf as vice president.
I'll second.
Okay, a motion is second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, that motion's carried. And next up is clerk.
I move to nominate Robin Fitzgerald. Very good at it.
I'll
There we-
second.
There was a lot in that look.
Oh, I don't need a
Okay.
second.
You don't,
Sorry.
but you can
Can-
save that for later.
I'll save it for
Okay.
three tries.
Are there any more nominations? Are there any more nominations? Are there any more nominations? Okay.
I move
now-
to close nominations for clerk
And cast a unanimous ballot.
and cast a unanimous ballot. Thank
Okay.
you. For Robin as clerk.
I'll second.
Okay, motion is second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, Robin is our clerk. And last office for, as treasurer.
I'll make a motion to nominate Sean Gavigan.
Okay, are there any more nominations? Are there any more nominations? Are there any more nominations?
I second to close the nominations, cast unanimous ballot for Sean Gavigan as treasurer.
Okay, you want to make a motion? Someone want to second that one? Second. Okay, seconded by Robin. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right. And so we've got board officers. The next item of business says we need, sorry, what? Yeah, okay. Introduce our new student board representatives. Sam, Peyton, we are very excited to have you. If I can turn the mic over to you for a minute and just, you can tell us what you'd like us to know about y'all.
Hello, I am Sam Stenberg. I am a student at West Salem, currently a junior. I participate in football, basketball, and track and field. I am also a member of DECA and the student council at West Salem.
Sounds great. Peyton?
Hi, I'm Peyton Greer, and I'm also a junior at West Salem High School. I do cross-country dance and track, and I'm part of student council, and I'm Sam's vice president.
Awesome. Okay. We're glad to have you guys. Look forward to your input on the board. Okay. Next is resolution authorizing board officers to borrow money.
I make a motion.
Okay, I got a motion by Tom and a second by Robin. Was that you? Okay. Any discussion? All in favor? Opposed? All right, motion's unanimous. Moving on to selection of a bank depository. We currently are using Union State Bank of West Salem.
Make a motion.
Okay, motion by Tom, second by Robin. Any discussion? All in favor? Opposed? All right, motion carried. Next is item E, authorization of facsimile/digitized signatures.
Make a motion.
Hold that thought. All right, motion is second. Now, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, motion carried. Item F, authorization of the board officers to invest surplus funds.
Make a motion.
Any discussion? All in favor? Opposed? All right, motion carried. Flipping the sheet over. Our meeting selection, selection of monthly meetings, days of the week, weeks of the month, and time. So currently we're meeting second and fourth Mondays at 7 p.m. for our regular meeting. I think we've been having only one meeting in December historically, so we would want to discuss which date we want to use for that one if we want to keep the same structure.
And then we also want to look at May, because the fourth Monday in May happens to be Memorial Day. And so
Oh.
whether or not we want to meet on the Monday,
Preferably
Memorial Day, or if we want to move that to the Tuesday, the 28th.
Well, we did do a meeting, prior to graduation on that weekend. Remember that?
We did, but that was a little chaotic. I'm not sure I would want to do that again. What do you think?
This is for
We
2024.
didn't really do anything. We just did the meeting and shut it down.
So I guess Tom mentioned that we have done a meeting prior to graduation in the past, and if we needed to do one just to approve invoices, that might be an opportunity. If we're going to have things on the docket where we need a meeting for the fourth Monday, we could look at Tuesday, or for the second. What do you guys want to do? We're supposed to decide tonight, but we could adjust a calendar later if we needed to.
With the 27th being Memorial Day.
We did it once prior to graduation, but it was a very short event. It was mostly just approving invoices.
How would we know if we're gonna approve it February, what would be on the docket in May?
No, but
Do you have a preference for what you'd want us to do, Ryan?
I just know that graduation is a pretty good day, and I don't know if we want to try and have a board meeting before graduation to make sure everybody's there, and knowing that trying to have all the board members there and being ready to go so we don't delay a graduation ceremony, I think is probably important. So if anything, I would say you move and you have it on Tuesday, the 28th, rather than try to have it on graduation. I mean, Mike, you've been there before. I guess any feedback or suggestions that you have?
Well, the one time we did do that, Catherine was right. I mean, they basically said the Pledge of Allegiance, the mission statement, and we moved to approve the, invoices and moved to adjourn. The meeting lasted about 3 minutes. It's a matter of if there's any other items on the agenda. That time of year, you could be hiring of staff. There could be some of that kind of stuff, but it doesn't make really any difference to me. I'm not going to vote for a hour-long meeting before our graduation, that's for sure. But if it's something that's 10 minutes, we can make that work at 1 o'clock because graduation's at 1:30. So whatever you guys decide, we'll work with.
Is there a reason why we can't have one in May like we do in December, this go around?
That's a question too. Is hiring the reason why we would want to have two
Sure.
in May?
Could that be adjusted,
I'm looking
like we
at-
had mentioned prior? Can we vote tonight to not, and then add it if necessary?
I would say if you're looking to have one, if we wanted to cut down on the time commitment from board members for a board meeting, then you make it at 12:45 on the 26th prior to, just to give a little cushion in case we have something, and then graduation starts at 1:30. Just to give a buffer.
What do you want to do?
Is there anything on the docket that we know of that we need to approve that we can't push off to the fourth Monday in May?
Well, this would be for 2024. so we wouldn't know that tonight.
Oh. Sure. We can always cancel it.
Make a motion, we set it for the 28th of 2024.
And that's Tuesday?
Second.
Okay, so we got a motion that addresses the May meeting. What do we want to do about the regular meetings as well as the December meeting?
Has there historically been any discussion about changing the time to earlier? That was a request brought to me from a couple of community members that have young kids. I said I'd bring it up.
I don't think I've heard a request for earlier before. Has anyone else? Was there a recommendation for a different time than 7?
The discussion was, have you had a conversation with the board regarding an earlier time slot so that it might be easier for some families, parents with younger kids, to attend in person or likely be a possible member of the school board?
Okay.
I did a little research on that afterwards. I know there's a local school nearby that does their regular school board meeting basically right after school, 4:30, right after the school day. I know some just.
I hear you, a couple things a little bit earlier maybe, but the only thing that's valuable is when we have some of these other committee meetings prior to.
No, I get it.
And then we're not giving up a full another day, which is, with a lot of work schedules, is really difficult. But I'm not saying that, you know, a 6:30 or 6:15 start can accomplish the same task. But I understand that,
Yep,
you know,
thank you.
9 o'clock gets to be late for
Yep.
people with the little ones.
Is committed to bring it up, and there are some schools that start at 6.
I think that would be a good option, if, minus what Sean said about us regularly having our other committee meetings on the same night, so we're not then having meetings multiple nights a week if possible. So. No, other meetings are prior also. Policy and teaching and learning have been on the same night. Well, correct, because business ops is the one that meets more regularly. Okay, so with that, looks like we've got a decision for May, but we need motions to address December as well as the regular monthly meeting day, time of the week. Second or, I think we've looked at having it on the third Monday to kind of split the difference.
It's the 11th or 18th as we look at 2023. No, 23.
Next fiscal year.
Yeah,
Right, so December 2023, and then we were talking about May 2024.
Yeah.
We just. I'd probably say the 18th. Anyone else want to make a motion that way?
What'd you say, Catherine?
I'd say probably the 18th is the better choice.
I would disagree. I would say the 11th, the further away from Christmas you get.
I would agree with
I'd
the
agree with
11th.
the 11th as
It's fine
well.
with me too.
I'll make a motion for December 11th, 2023.
Second.
All right, all in favor? All right, so December 11th. And we still need a motion.
I
on
make
our
a
regular
motion to
meetings.
keep our regular meetings second and fourth Mondays of each month at 7 o'clock.
I'll second.
Okay, I have a motion to
Did we make a motion?
Well, we had a motion a second, we didn't vote. We did a motion a second.
So we need to vote on May, just to make it.
Thanks for paying attention. There was a lot of discussion. Okay.
Hey, I'm being worked extraordinary.
Okay, so let's vote then on the motion for the regular meeting. We have a motion and a second. And is there any discussion? All right, all in favor? Okay, that motion passes. We apparently did not vote on the May meeting. We need to go back to that. We had a motion and a second. Okay. Is there additional discussion on that one?
There's not.
Thank you. Okay.
Who made the motion in the second, Pat?
Yes.
Okay, and now all in favor on the May motion?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, that one passes. Okay, thanks, Tim. Yes, thank you. Glad it doesn't. Okay, item H, appoint deputy clerk and deputy treasurer.
I'll make a motion to appoint Patrick Barr as deputy clerk and appoint Sean Hanlon as the deputy treasurer.
Second.
Okay, a motion and a second. Is there additional discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, that motion's carried. Okay, item I, board committees, memberships, delegates, and representations. So with that, I would say if you have a desire to be on a committee that's different from one that you're currently on, if you would let me know, and then I can look at accommodating requests, and then let everyone know how that shakes out. Do you all have, I think that was included in the packet, right, the copy of the current committees? Okay. And then if you would thanks, Sean. If you would let me know any feedback on that by, say, the end of this week. That be okay? Okay, thanks. Okay, item J, CISA 4 representative delegate. Pat's got a note that says he has to let CISA know by tomorrow, so we need action on that tonight. I've been operating as the CISA 4 rep, and I'm willing to continue doing that. I think it's been a valuable experience.
I'll make a motion for Catherine to continue to be the CISA 4 representative.
Okay, thank
Second.
you. All right, motion is second. Any additional discussion? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, that motion's carried. Okay, and that concludes our reorganization activities. Okay, take a breath. That was a lot. We will next move to reports. Item A, Workforce Engagement and Development Committee. Mr. Gavigan.
So we did meet with the West Salem Education Association leadership. We had a very positive discussion. We talked about multiple different parameters of how our thought process goes into this. We heard what they're hoping the expectations would be, and we're currently in discussion, but it's very amicable. We all have the same end game in mind, and it does completely feel like that we are all on the same page and rowing in the same direction.
Okay. Thank you, Sean. Are there questions on Sean's report? Great, hearing none. We'll move to the Teaching and Learning Committee report. Robin?
Sure, thanks. We met last week and talked with, I believe, Mr. Yang, Deanna, Mr. Malat was there, and Heidi, and talked about their visit to St. Croix Central. We know we compare ourselves to our regional competitors where we do very well, but we felt it was important to also visit some of our statewide cohorts to see how we compare to them and ask questions about things that they're doing successfully and things that we might be able to get some ideas from. So we talked about that visit with them and some ideas they brought back. And then also just looked at our mid-year data just to see where we're at on our strategic plan and looking at going forward where we need to just keep looking and investigating. So that's it.
Okay, sounds good. Robin, are there questions on Robin's report for teaching and learning? A lot of reports tonight. Next up is our Policy, Communication, and Engagement Committee. Eric?
All right. Yeah, thanks. We had a meeting to review the technical changes from January. Had 21 policies on the list, I think 16 or 17 of them for technical, and then 4 for a change in language. One of the policies that was in your packet, 2460, is going to be stricken from the agenda for tonight and dealt with as a procedural change, correct?
Yep, as for the review, the program for students with disabilities, there was some language that we were looking at in there as far as transportation, but it's an in-district procedure rather than a policy change. So when we go to those first readings, we're not going to bring forward 2460 for a policy change.
So we'll be bringing forward 8600 on transportation, 8660 on transportation in a private vehicle, and then 0175.1 for school board attendance at conferences, conventions, and workshops.
All right, thanks, Eric. Board, are there questions on Eric's report? All right, hearing none, move to item D, District Strategic Initiatives Update by District Leadership Team and Ryan Reber.
I guess, we're about to move into the month of May here, and part of the, when we reorganize, it also means that diplomas get sent home with board members to get signed. So once we get to that point, we know it's getting near an end. And, I had the privilege of signing the diplomas here about a month and a half back. And so we'll hand those to one board member tonight, and we'll continue those until they get to Mr. Malat's desk here prior to graduation. A lot of things going on right now. We had a snow day here last week. Hard to believe we had a snow day after our 2 built-in snow days, but communication did go out that we will be having extending the school year by a day, and we'll move to do that school day makeup on Friday, June 2nd. I guess with that, any other questions for myself or any members of my team that are here this evening?
Mr. Wolpett, I was just wondering if you would give us an update on your community cleanup event that you held and how that was successful.
It went great. It was fun. Kids did a great job. Staff did a wonderful job. I got to drive my pickup truck around and pick up the garbage that they left here in town and all over the place, so that was great. But yeah, it was really great to see our kids involved in the community, and we already have some ideas about how we're going to serve in other ways as we roll into next year and provide more opportunities for our students to do that. So it was a great way to end the day. Yeah, proud of our staff, proud of our kids.
What was the feedback that you got from the community, if any, on that?
All positive, and I think they're appreciative of. We had a handful of veterans that accepted our offer to help. Many of them take a lot of pride in doing their own work and felt perfectly capable, but we're hoping that by doing it this year that word will spread a little bit, and that we'll have more, because cleaning up the parks and everything that's great, that's fine too, but oftentimes they hire people to do that. So when we got in the yards and things like that, that was really neat. So we'd like to have more of those types of opportunities next year.
And was this initiated by student council, did I hear?
It was, yeah. And so Martha Burdick and Amber Cole are the teachers that lead up student council, and our kids were excited about it as well. And our student council at the middle school does a really nice job. And those 2 teacher leaders do a nice job leading our students. And, oftentimes we'll have little, community fundraisers or basketball on certain days where like the half court shot, that was famous and on Facebook and things like that. All those types of things oftentimes have to do with that organization within our school. So, yeah, it was a great day.
Just one other comment, the half-court shot on Facebook, I heard you had to buy ice cream, is that accurate?
I did for the staff and the students, and she had one chance to hit it, and she did.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Has the ice cream happened yet?
What's that? I did. Yeah. I did.
Thanks, Mr. Wopat. Ryan, do you have anything else that you want to add?
No, not at this time.
Okay, we'll move on then to connection with the community and our board reports by our new high school student reps. Peyton, do you want to go first?
Okay, got it. The NHS just this past weekend on Sunday and Saturday, they did a cleanup. So they did one at the Vets Park on Saturday. And then on Sunday, yesterday, we cleaned up around the school starting like at the varsity baseball field. And then we did all the way to the middle school, around the high school, to all the way to the Panther Den and elementary school. So we picked up a lot of garbage there. And then this Sunday is the NHS induction, so all the new students that got chosen for NHS will be welcomed in on Sunday. And then the senior art show also happened last Thursday, April 20th, and it was a great success, and they had lots of talented artwork there. The forensics team also went to state this last weekend. It was held in Madison, and the whole team qualified for it, so they all got to go this weekend. Madison McRogers, Noah Stewart, Ben Holter, and Mr. Holter right now are at ICDC right now in Orlando, Florida. So they all qualified for state DECA. So they all got to go to Florida and see DECA there and compete. And then lastly, Brett McConkey was selected one of the 16 for the WIAA Scholar Athletes in the state of Wisconsin for the 2022 and 2023 school year.
Along with that, our ecology club had a Earth Week celebration this week, where in the morning announcements they put a different challenge every day of the week, such as pick up after yourself or walk to school or carpool to school was one of the days. SCP presentations are coming up very soon. They are on May 10th, so that will be very soon, and the seniors are currently presenting them in class. And so that's been going on for the past few weeks and will continue until SCP presentation day. Spring sports, as you guys know, are kind of at a standstill right now due to the weather, because it's hard to play soccer or run in 18 feet of snow, or 18 inches of snow, or whatever we had. Yeah, fail 18 feet. The baseball team, however, was able to have a couple of games this weekend. They had double headers on Friday and Saturday. On Friday, they played Luther. They won both the games, and on Saturday, they played Belleville and won both the games as well. The dance team tryouts are coming up for the 2023-2024 team. And prom is coming up very soon. It is on May 6th, so the prom committee's been working hard to make sure everything is going smoothly, and the high school students are excited for prom in the coming days.
It's one thing that Sam brought up about SCP presentations, and if Mr. Malat wants to jump in, but I know that there's been a big increase in community participation that wants to be judges for the SCP presentations. So that's allowed some in-district people that have normally been a part of the presentations to be able to walk around and be more visible during those days. I don't know, Mike, if you want to add anything to that, but it's been a big community outreach to be judges for this year's SCP.
Yeah, we have an additional 21 new judges that have not judged before from the community alone. That's not counting any staff members. So it's going to allow, I know myself, I'm going to be able to bounce around and get into a variety of rooms rather than being in just one room. So that'll be nice. It's great to see our community stepping up, and kudos to our SCP team for reaching out and getting other members to participate within our community. So it's outstanding.
So that was the influx of new interest. It was a reach out from some of our staff members looking for people? Because that's incredible that we have 21 new people.
I think it's a couple of things. I think our people reached out. I also think that there have been some people who, I don't know for sure how they're being counted, whether they're new or not, but I know there was a number of people who hit pause with COVID, and I don't know if some of them are now coming back or if we just got some new interest after that. But yeah, we hit a home run there. We're doing really, real well. And then I know they were here last time to present, and they have decided to go with Panther Portfolio.
Thanks for letting us know on that decision.
That was introduced to juniors today, so if you get any feedback, just so you know.
Okay. Well, Peyton and Sam, nice job on your very first board reports. Think you hit a home run. Appreciate it. Okay, so correspondence. I'll pass this around, but we had a thank you to the board from our prior student reps, Madison and Brennan. Madison said that being a school board rep was one of her favorite experiences during her high school career. And Brennan said that he was privileged to be a part of our team. So appreciate that. And I'll send it this way and then you can send it back. Item C, public comment at board meetings, board policy 167.3. Pat, do we have anyone? Okay. We will then move on to our consent agenda, which includes minutes of the regular board meeting of April 10th, 2023, invoices to be paid, co-curricular recommendations for volunteer track and baseball coaches, and volunteer Odyssey of the Mind, as well as donations. And the donation list for tonight is the Nutrition Services Jane Doe Fund received donations from the following: $775 from Kelly Schneider, $1370 from Charity Tofty. And then Peg Liga donated $1,000 to the Mike and Peg Liga Scholarship Fund in memory of Mike. Noodlehead Inc. donated $4,000 for 2 art scholarships, $2,000 each to the Tiny Orchard Scholarship Fund. The Special Education Department received $1,000 from the La Crosse Area Autism Foundation. And the following donations were made to the High School Odyssey of the Mind team traveling to Michigan to compete in World Finals in May. Keenan's Cherryland donated $100. Midwest Well Service Inc. donated $500. Ronco Engineering Sales Inc. donated $100. Dahl Automotive donated $500. And Maury's Lacrosse donated $1,500. And that is the end of donations.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Okay, I have a motion, a second. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? All right, consent agenda carried. All right, we'll go to discuss, consider, and take action if appropriate regarding strategic initiatives. Item A, staffing for the 23-24 school year. That was referenced during our biz ops meeting, right? But
Yep, during our biz ops meeting, we reviewed our current staffing within the district, and the change presented to the committee was to adjust the contractual days of the school nurse position. We want to move towards 1 head nurse with 2 nurse assistants or health assistants. The suggested change would be to increase the contractual days for the school nurse position to a 220-day contract from the current 190-day contract. This would allow us to put like summer school duties within there to make sure that we have a school nurse present during summer school, along with medical training for staff, and then the duties, after the conclusion of a school year and leading into the beginning of a new school year. And we've also worked on changing the job description to include summer school, like I just said, and the contracted days. And I would say that if anyone from the business op would want to speak further with that, but I would recommend that we take the recommendation for the business op committee on this change to our staffing for next school year.
And the business op also agreed with it to bring it forward to the board as an approval from us. I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Is there additional discussion on that motion? All right, all in favor? Opposed? All right, that motion carries. Item B, teacher and school site contracts for 23-24 school year. Is there an attachment for that?
Yeah, it'd be attachment K. On attachment K, we have a list of the teacher contracts along with the school psychs that we are bringing to approval for their contracts for the 23-24 school year.
Is there, help me remember, Mason, is he not on this list intentionally, or is it because of a prior approval?
It's from a prior board approval.
Okay.
Yep. Heidi, our new school psych that,
I move to approve the teacher and school site contracts for the 23-24 school year as written in attachment K.
I'll second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Is there any additional discussion? All right, all in favor? Opposed? All right, that motion carries. Item C, vehicle driver contracts for the 23-24 school year. Looks like attachment L.
attachment L are the driver contracts for the 23-24 school year. And I would recommend approval of the vehicle driver contracts as presented in attachment L.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, I got a motion and a second. Is there any additional discussion?
Just briefly, that there's a bill attempting to be passed to allow for school board members to voluntarily drive bus.
What?
That just came out today. It's like Bill 216. So, Tom, if you're interested.
I suppose that could be more applicable, especially in a small district, if you would want to allow that.
And of course, they had to meet, we'd have to meet all the requirements prior to and be unpaid, but typically, policy directs us that, and statute directs us that we can't volunteer for typically paid positions. But in this instance, they're looking at busing to be an alternative to that.
I will not be volunteering. Just want the record to state. But
It
thanks.
just it makes me think perhaps substitute teaching might be next.
Mm.
So.
Okay, thanks for sharing that. Okay, any additional discussion beyond that? All right, all in favor? Opposed? All right, motion carries. Item D, first reading of board policies. We've got 8600, 8660, and we are not doing 2460 as per prior discussion. And then 175.1.
Yep, correct. So, in page 31 of your board packet is policy 8660. The policy committee met and reviewed some language, primarily focusing on giving the director of transportation the authority to set the bus routes, what conditions he's supposed to take into consideration, some guidance on driving bus on private roads, and then notification of our parents and what's the word I'm looking for? Not chaperone.
The maintained roads is the big one with
The
this.
maintained roads, yep.
Yep.
And then the other was notification of video and audio recording potentially being used on the bus.
Yeah, one of the, as we were going through this policy, one of the things that we continue to run into, and Rick and with his team, is that when we do a 2-hour delay or something like that for our buses, our buses do reach to some outskirts within our districts and cul-de-sacs that usually do not get maintained. And so what this would allow is the communication to families on unmaintained roads where they could bring the kids out to the bus, and it doesn't require the bus to go through those unmaintained roads and put the safety of any passengers or the driver at risk to go down any unmaintained roads.
Okay, the second policy is on page 33 and 34. It's 8660, transportation by private vehicle, and it sets the parameters for safety checks of the vehicle, proof of insurance, and appropriate insurance limits for people wishing to choose to transport students in private vehicles. And then the third one is page 37 in your packet. It's 0175.1, and it has to do with school board conferences, conventions, and workshops, and it just sets the reimbursement rate for board members to be up to the daily rate that's consistent with other district employees is the main change there. So the policy committee is bringing these forward for first reading.
I'll make a motion to approve the changes in the policy for the first reading.
Second.
So to clarify, your motion was to approve all the policies for the first reading? Okay. All right, got a motion and a second. Is there additional discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? All right, and that is carried. Next, our list of to-do items, information requests, attachment Q. Ryan, is there anything noteworthy that we should take note of, or board members, or is there anything that we need to add?
I did add 2 items to this administrative to-do list. If you can remember, about 2 years ago, I did, we wrote a grant here within the district to conduct a traffic study. And it's taken us 2 years to finally pin down the Wisconsin DOT to find and know that we have access to those funds, that the funding for that was notified to us on the Saturday prior to Easter. And so we're in the process right now of having an RFP made up so we can send that out. So 2 years ago, when I had talked to the village and brought it to the board that we were going to conduct a traffic study to examine the traffic around campus, specifically in the morning hours and after school, now we can actually see that to fruition. I don't think that we'll be able to have that study done here prior to the end of the school year. And it doesn't really do us any good to have that study done in July or August. So if for some reason we cannot have that conducted before the end of May, we'll wait until September, but I just wanted to let you know that that was on here. And then after our board development session that we had last time, really looking at digging into doing a capacity survey to look at our elementary school and long-range planning for that, and when we start looking at the possibility of full-day 4K coming up in the state budget to look at really what is the capacity within our elementary school building, so we can have some data to work with here at the board level. And then coming prior this evening, there was a request to bring back and look at the advertising policy that we have in the district, so that will be a to-do item that is added to our list.
Just a quick question. Would peak traffic on campus be later in the school year when more sophomores have obtained their driver's license?
I suppose that, you're probably right with that. I just, we do know that there's some bottlenecks within our district. The four-way stop over by the middle school, right up here at Hamlin and Leonard, that's another very congested area in the morning, especially if you're trying to come straight down Hamlin Street. You could sit at those 2 stop signs for quite some time unless you go. So, I think, there are more sophomores that could be driving later on in the school year, but there hasn't been a whole lot of increase in traffic since our current sophomore class has started driving from what there was earlier, but it's really just, we have the opportunity to get this done now, and we know that we have the money to do it.
Any additional questions on that to-do list? Okay, with that, that's going to end our live stream, and the board will move into closed session where we will discuss, consider, and if appropriate, take action pursuant to Wisconsin Stat 19.851C concerning employment, promotion, compensation, or performance evaluation data of any public employee over which the governmental body has jurisdiction or exercises responsibility regarding a professional staff employee. Would somebody like